No, Twitch is deciding to not even show me that we're online. Amazing. There we go. Right thing, so you should be coming through.
Yes, now I heard myself.
Fabulous. Well, hello and welcome to our catch-up week, because we all died for a moment.
Yep.
So we are here tonight with comic books and all things comic book. It is, I'm going to say ahead of time, probably going to be a little bit more of a subdued evening. I'm still not back up to full health. I know Sai is also not back up to full health. So we're going to do our best for you guys tonight.
We got this.
We got this. Totally not dying.
No. Just starting to get sick again. In time for Christmas.
Never
No,
ending circle of crap.
we are slowly trying to recover from being ill. We're not getting ill again.
No, I meant like I am getting it again.
I don't know if we get a choice whether we're going to be sick again or not.
As long as it doesn't happen for a while, I don't mind.
We have an
And as long as it doesn't,
leaf there. I see an ember leaf.
as long as it doesn't hit us as hard this time either. Because Jesus, I could deal with the common cold, whatever the hell this was. Wasn't that?
Yeah, no, I have to say, I've had the flu before, and it has not ever been like whatever the hell this was.
Yeah. No,
So it's definitely been something. So hi, hello, welcome to this week's chat. I think we're going to dive right in. What makes comics such a unique storytelling medium compared to traditional books or films?
The comics, I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't read many, if any, comics.
I will say I am including things like
you read manga, so you do read
mangas.
Well, no, this is where. So that's where I was going to go with this. Was obviously that although I haven't read many
Western comics,
like comics, I've read a good chunk of manga. I've read obviously the 86 light novel. That's got that's got illustrations in. Okay, so step away from that. But I know that there is a manga for that. I've read and I'm currently rereading the Tokyo Ghoul manga. I remember I've read one called Orange as well, which was a really sweet romance novel, I believe. And then I'm trying to think what other ones I've read. God, yeah, a couple of others, probably online on just through like websites and stuff. But it's a weird one. I think it uses a lot more or a lot different skills in order to get the points in the story across correctly. And it forces you to use a lot more skills in order to effectively understand what's actually coming across. Obviously, explaining things in words gives you a really good sort of pacing and sequence to things. You can use things like shorter sentences, punctuation, obviously, and things like that to really express the pace of a story, to show tone of voice, and things like that. Whereas all of that has to be presented, obviously, pretty much visually, and that's can be really sort of difficult to get across for everyone, simply for the fact of, I would say, everyone sort of interprets things when it comes to things like facial expression and things and the meaning behind them a lot differently. Somebody who is autistic, understanding any of those things is difficult, and so I found actually that in the beginning of like trying to get into manga, I actually quite struggled, mainly because I was misinterpreting the information that was on the page in front of me, because I was having to rely on things like understanding the facial expressions that had been drawn, and actually like breaking down the image that was in front of you. The trying to express movement in a still image is probably one of the hardest things to understand, because obviously movement in a still image is incredibly distorted. And it can get quite confusing. So I get why some people might not like it as a sort of a medium. And I think, but I think it's that makes it unique. I've learned to enjoy them, and I've sort of learned how to break them down and understand them. But yeah, I think it relies on a lot of different, skills and things. So feel free to pitch in on this one, by the way.
No, I feel similarly. Comics. I grew up both reading like your typical like superhero comics, as well as like the comic strips in the newspaper and stuff. And then I started reading Witch. That was my I used my weekly allowance to go buy the new comic every Friday after school, and I did that for like a year. And then I got into manga and read when I was in my later teens. We had Manga Mania, which came to Sweden, and that is more of the more typical thing that you get in like Japan, where there's like 4 different chapters from 4 different stories in one magazine. That was really fun to read.
Do you, obviously talking specifically about sort of what makes them, I guess, unique in how they, or what makes them unique from obviously sort of written or other mediums or medias, however you want to phrase it. I think they do setting incredibly well visually, and I think they obviously lose out on the sense of things like smell, and stuff that you are very, very focused purely on the visual aspect of the story. I think, and it kind of takes, you have to be able to write the characters then, or and again, obviously, the writing itself is very almost broken down into just little snippets and bits, whereas like full-on conversations are incredibly difficult to have, mainly because you've got a limited amount of space to get information in.
Well, you've got a narrator's box or a speech bubble.
In comics, yeah. In manga, you kind of don't.
You do.
They work.
At least in most that I have read, and especially in newer web comics, you have a lot of like information boxes.
Yeah, I think when you think of webcomics, I think of obviously like Lore Olympus, and it's all visual storytelling. There are a few, like there are chat box dialogues where you'll have 2 people talking to each other, or you might have a thought bubble to understand what the person is thinking.
Oh,
but outside of that, it's all visual. It's all what's happening
Yeah.
in each drawn panel, and I think it shows like how much we can actually create without words.
I think it's very much more dependent on the reader, though, in terms of the I don't know how to phrase this correctly. In a novel, for example, you go into a war-torn battlefield. Battle's just ended. You know, they'll describe the smell of the blood mixed with the soil and sort of, you know, the sort of stench of death. You know, it might be raining and you'll hear the sounds of the, you know, it'll actively describe to you the sounds of your feet in the mud and, you know, maybe leftover skirmishes that are happening and sort of like cries of pain and everything. And a lot of the time, that information, it's up to the reader to actually, especially in like comics and manga, to kind of take it into their own hands and go, okay, how much do I want to actually involve myself in this scene, in this panel, etc.? You know, am I just going to literally just look at the picture and go, oh, it's a battlefield, or am I actually going to take the time to sit there and go, okay, what would it smell like? What would it sound like? You know, and almost like imagine place yourself in the picture rather than have that information fed to you. And so I actually think it gives the reader a lot more like autonomy in terms of how in depth they want to go in placing themselves in the picture, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, which it's again is quite interesting, because it really plays on. There are two different ways to do it. Obviously, that there's sort of you could do it as like, I'm going to place myself in the character's shoes here, and I'm going to, you know, rely on my empathy skills to place myself in their position as they're stood there now, and go, what can they see and they smell and they hear, and imagine how they're feeling in the moment. Or I can place myself as a bystander. But there was obviously one of the I have a degree in professional and creative writing. One of the modules we did at university was comic book writing, and there was a really interesting point made where it's up to you whether you like. In some scenes, it may be left up to you to be the killer, in the sense of like you will see the axe fall, but you don't actually see it hit anyone, and then you know the page will go black, and then it'll move on to the next scene, and you know it's actually up to you in your head to go, okay, that person, you know, was killed in that moment. Whereas, yeah, I think it forces you to take a lot more responsibility in the telling of the story, because you have to make up the spaces between the panels. You fill in the bits between the boxes, which I think is very fun and very interesting concept.
Okay. I will be popping random polls up throughout the night. So at the moment, we do have which one is your preference for comics? Is it Marvel, DC, or neither? Because there's nothing like starting a bit of drama on a Sunday evening. My next question, though, when it comes to reading comics, are you more drawn to the art, the dialogue, or the overall story when you're looking for your next read?
I'm sorry, Ari. Could you do that one more time? Because my brain went like, I heard you, but I couldn't comprehend.
Are you more drawn to the art style, the dialogue, or the overall story when it comes to picking your next comic? Whether that is in manga or comic book form or webcomic, is it the art style that makes you go, actually I want to give this a read? Is it, you know, snippets of dialogue that catch your eye and you know you go, well, I like the way that character speaks and I think I'm gonna like reading about them? Or is it the overall story itself? Is it the actual meat of what it's about that makes you read it? Emberleaf is hi Emberleaf. She's coming with it's the picture on the front, which is fair.
Yeah, it's usually the picture on the front, the title, and or the little blurb.
Okay, so for you, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, I will read a story that I might not think look great, but I find the story blurb sounded interesting, so I'll pick it up. And I'll keep reading a story if the art changes, if the story is still good.
Fair.
So
No.
it all matters, but in different degrees, I guess.
I think for me, the story it can look pretty, but I'm not going to actually care about what's going on. And to me, that's a kind of almost like a waste. If I wanted to look at a picture, I would buy a piece of artwork, but I'm buying a comic or a manga for story.
Yeah, but I've also
Um,
found that there's ones that could have really great stories, but I've been turned away from it because I haven't enjoyed the art style.
That is me and the Olymp.
It was Lore Olympus.
Yeah,
Hmm?
I really have a hard time with that art, but the story is supposed to be great. But I have a really hard time.
It's a problem I have with anime
reading it.
as well. If I don't enjoy the art style, even if it has a great story, even if the characters are really great, I will still struggle to watch it because of the art style. So I think for
Yeah,
me it is also it's a 3-piece. It's a little bit, it has to have a little bit of everything for me.
but I think you also struggle with like voice acting as well. If voice acting
More
is too American,
specifically, I cannot stand in talking of anime, I can't stand English dubs mainly.
I can't watch English dubs anymore.
There is
there
something
are
about the
some that are
way
really worth
that
it. There are some that
there
are
are
really
some, I will say, there are some that have been very good, but I think people forget that with languages there's such a specific way certain words, and we have it in English, like we will stress certain parts of a word and it completely changes the meaning. And I think sometimes when you do translations, especially when they translate from something like Japanese into English, some of those stresses on the words get a little bit lost. And so they end up either almost overacting it or underacting something because they're not quite understanding the full inflection of the sentence as how it would have been in Japanese. As Emberleaf has said there, the art makes the comic. If it's only about the story, then go for a book or an audiobook. And I do absolutely agree with you there.
I'm
That
not
is
saying
the big thing.
I want to say I'm not only saying that it's story alone, because you're right. If I wanted purely story, I would go for but to counter that, there are some people who very much struggle to decipher words on a page, and so their story would have to be very good I think, to help them navigate. But I think story and art go hand in hand anyway. I think, if you want to get and this is where I talk about, no, that's my thing, is like the story has to be good. The foundation of the story, in terms of, for me, there are key principles that will make up a good, like the good solid foundation of a story. But because it is a visual art form over a written art form, the artwork has to match that. And this is where I talk about, like, facial expressions, for example, are so important in proving how a character is going to react to something, but also hinting at things. A slight side eye in a panel of a character that's like walking out of the room, and they might be way in the back, but you just catch them like looking back slightly. There are tiny little details that need to be added in that in a book I think would be much more obvious, because it's there plain as day, almost the same as everything else is. So I think you can be a lot more subtle, a lot sneakier. You can hint at a lot
this-
more things.
Yeah, I think this ends up being the same question as like what's more important, the story, the characters, or the world building when you're talking about a novel. And I think the answer is that all of them are
They all play
as
their part.
equally important. I would just say that I think for me, the artwork, it's not a pure 33, 33, 33 split. It's just that little bit more.
Yeah,
Because yes, the story is really important, and yes, the dialogue is really important, but the art has to be right.
yeah, but on that note, even if the art is amazing, I will stop reading it when the story is just so bad.
Oh yeah, I
Like I
agree
say,
with
I
that.
think the story, the artwork is the story. 90% of the artwork in there is the story. You know,
Not so much with web comics. Not at least much that I read, because they are also very, very word heavy, so to speak. But even like the dialogue is so bad that even if the art is amazing, I can't keep reading it because I don't want to support this art because just because that one part is great.
Hi Valkyrie, and welcome to the chat. I fully agree with you on Seven Deadly Sins. It's actually the one of the only anime that I will happily watch dubbed, because it is done very well. So I do 100% agree with you on that one. I haven't watched Vash the Stampede, so I couldn't talk on that one. I know that we tried it with My Hero Academia. We started watching it in Japanese, tried watching the English dubbed, and it was just
You hated it.
so heavily Americanized. And I get that for somebody like All Might, who is supposed to be very American, but everybody in it was so very American that it just, ended up being so focused on that I lost actually what was happening, because I was just focused on the fact that everyone sounded like they just stepped out of a Valley Girl commercial.
Yeah. Here's an unpopular opinion. I can't watch House Moving Castle in English because it's just not right. Because I will just get so annoyed at the bad translations.
I've only ever seen that in English, so
Yeah.
I don't really have a choice.
No, I can understand people really enjoying it in English. If that was the first you were introduced to and haven't seen it in Japanese, then I'm glad you're enjoying it, because it's a great movie. It's a great story. They're great books. But yeah. I'm even
there were
correcting
French films I grew up with that I recently watched because someone had done a translated to English version, and just rewatching it again and trying to rewatch it with all these English voices instead was like, what have you done? Like, no, that's not what they're saying. Why are you saying that? And then you just spend the entire time screaming at the TV. Thank you very much for the follow, Beans. We always need more beans. But yeah, I don't know if it is an American thing. Obviously, because I'm not American.
Do you
Valkyrie said that she's American and definitely understands because they use a lot of the same voice actors. That I do find is, I think we're starting to branch out on voice actors now, which is great. But there was a big swath of time where you would just be watching something, you're like, wait, I know that voice. Where do I know that voice from? And then you hit up IMDb and they've been in everything. And you're like, oh.
Do you read? So it's, for example, I'm reading Tokyo Ghoul and I've watched the full anime, so I've got, there are voices in my head that I've heard from that I have when I'm reading. There are voices. That's just phrase. But yeah, I'll rephrase. I have voices in my head for the characters based on like the anime. And it's like, do you have, say for example, you're reading a Batman comic? Is there a specific like actor's take on it
So,
that
yeah,
you
so
use for it, or do you come up with your own?
I grew up with Marvel comics. My uncle was massively into Marvel, and from like a very young age got me into it, and it has been like one of the big loves of my life through my entire childhood and into adulthood. And so when I was younger, and obviously there wasn't anything to compare it to because we didn't have the cinematic universe as we do now. Thank you very much for the follow, Chaotic. So no, it was just the voices made up in my head. Now, reading them, Iron Man specifically, I will always hear Robert Downey Jr.'s voice because it has become so distinctive to me. Not just how he speaks, but the way he speaks, the way he says lines, and the way he acts as Iron Man has become such a synonymous thing for me that he is Iron Man. So yeah, now going back and reading them, it's 100% his voice. Same I find with Tom Holland. Really, probably was one of the first Spider-Man that actually sounded like how Spider-Man actually did in my head growing up. I knew Mark Hamill might come up as the Joker because, yeah, I don't think you get better than Mark Hamill's portrayal of the Joker in the DC animated universe. And I will say, and this is, I don't know if people will agree with me, but when it comes to films, Marvel have it. They get the win on that. When it comes to the animated universe, DC have it. And then I think comic books, it's either or on preference because, to be honest, a lot of them connect to each other in the fact that you have Wade Wilson and Slade Wilson, and just everything has a mirror image from one or the other.
Do you get annoyed at like maybe the variations from source material sometimes?
Me, 100%.
Like
I'm gonna 100%. This is gonna start a rant, and I hope you know what you've done. In fact, you probably do because I know I ranted about this the other day.
Before you start, I will say it's one of the things that annoys me when it comes to manga and anime. Is I get there are a limited amount of episodes that a show will be booked for, but the one thing I've really learned to love about the manga is the extra details that you get in certain things. Especially in like the development of certain characters. Like again, having watched Tokyo Ghoul and loving the first season, and then seeing what they did to the rest of it, reading the first season again, even that I'm like there's so many small bits of information. It's what I said to you literally like a few pages in.
But it's the book
film
versus the movie analogy.
Yeah,
yes. Like the movies, you can get good movie adaptations of books. I'm not going to say you can't because there are quite a few that I thoroughly enjoy. However, you're never going to get as much information in a film that you get in a book.
No,
never.
But on that note, I really enjoy a lot of webcomics. If they didn't start out as novels, they will come out as novels as well. So I read both because you will get more details in different ways depending on how you read it. So I really enjoy reading both if it's well written in the novel.
Yeah. Is it time for my rant now?
Yeah,
now it's time. Am I allowed to rant? Okay. So again, I'm what I'm going to do really quickly before I start ranting is I'm going to catch up on chat because we've had Chaotic Destructive has said Kevin Conroy for Batman, Mark Hamill for Joker, and Jensen Ackles for Red Hood. 100% agree with all of you. DC has had every chance. I don't think it's because that they're not like the MCU that people didn't like it. And that's where I will disagree with you there, Beans. I think it's because the Marvel Cinematic Universe started out with Iron Man as an indie movie, and they went out on a limb by taking on Robert Downey Jr. because obviously he'd been out of work for a while, he'd been in jail and everything else. He was not an actor that people were going to work with. He was not going to make a comeback. And they went, we want to make this. We don't know if it's going to do well because superhero movies are so hit and miss. But we're going to take a try on it anyway, and we think he's going to be the perfect fit. And they got it right, and then they kept building on that. And I think DC have had some really good shouts. Really good shouts. I think Heath Ledger, when they did Batman Darkest Night? Is it Darkest Night? Dark Knight?
Dark Knight, yeah.
Dark Knight. Right. Again, think the casting for him was superb.
Mm.
But then they go, okay, and it's almost like they go, we're bored of this actor now, so we're going to replace them. We had a trailer come up yesterday for another Superman movie, and you're like,
I think this
we've had Cavill, who was fantastic. The writing wasn't great, but he was fantastic. Thank you, Valkyrie. It's Dark Knight Rises. That's the one. Batman has had what, 11, 12 people play him in the last 20
Do you think
30
people are
years?
almost bored now of DC just rehashing?
I think that what they need to do is stop, get their writing down pat, work out exactly what story it is, and then sit there and go, okay, let's look at everyone. Small time, big time, let's look at everyone. Yeah, Valkyrie, I'm 100% with you there. I rolled my eyes too, because why exactly do we need another Superman? And on top of that, do you not think he looks like the budget version of Henry Cavill? Which seems a bit funny for me.
10 different actors have played the Caped Crusader in both live action films and on television.
Since when? Does it say?
Since the
Is that just ever?
one. Yeah.
Okay.
As of 2024, 10 actors.
So 10 actors, okay? And you just get to a point where you're like, you're swinging and missing. So either they've got to go one of two ways. They've either got to take the time, really find someone and go, okay, we're going to start small, we're going to work up, we're going to do this. We're going to do what Marvel did, and we're going to take the time to really make this something. Or we're going to give up on the movie franchises altogether, and we're going to focus on the animations because that's where we thrive.
Also, like Lego Batman is like peak Batman.
They did do Cavill dirty, and he's my boy, so I will fight to the bitter death to him. They did him dirty, and The Witcher did him dirty, and I'm still fucking mad about it. But I'm going to go on a rant now about Marvel, because as much as I absolutely love them, this eats me. My favourite character growing up was Iron Fist. I went out of my way to find every comic I could get with Iron Fist in it, because he was my favourite. By far. Absolutely loved him. He was sassy. He was fun. I adored him. And then we got the MCU. And I was like, okay, we're getting an MCU. This is great. You know, they're mainstreaming comic books. It's not just going to be this nerd thing anymore that you get looked down on. This is going to be great. And we had Iron Man, and it was fantastic. We had the Avengers, and it was fantastic. And they started making all these things, and it was so great. And they were done so well. And then Netflix did Daredevil. Now, everybody knows the first Daredevil film with Ben Affleck, poor Ben Affleck, was shocking. It was awful. Then Netflix did it with Charlie Cox, and it was mind-blowingly good. And you're like, we've got... We're fixing that. That is my mission between Christmas and New Year, we're doing the entirety of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, do you have to do all of it, all the movies and all the series as well?
Oh yes, everything. But they did.
I was gonna say
Daredevil.
I would join, but some of those series I just can't watch.
No, they did Daredevil, and I was happy, mind blown. This is brilliant. This is amazing. Then we got Jessica Jones, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna get Iron Fist.
Series so
And
good.
I remember when they announced Jessica Jones, and I was like, if they've done Daredevil and they're doing Jessica Jones, we're gonna get Iron Fist. And I was so excited. I was 7 again, finding the comic books, and I was so excited. And then they announced who. And I looked at it and went, no, that's not right. But it's okay, because I'm going to trust Marvel. Because they haven't done me wrong. Well, they did me wrong. Big time. Because Iron Fist was the biggest load of shit. Up until that point, I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe had been pretty superb. We'd not really had any major issues. Ignoring, I'm talking starting at Iron Man, not talking about like the
thing that
Banner Hulk that we definitely won't talk about.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Anything
Moving
prior to Tony Stark as our lovely RDJ? No. And yeah, and then they just put this in front of us and went, hey, look, here's Iron Fist. And you know how we've put all this money and time and effort into building up this universe, and Netflix have given us this money to do Daredevil and Luke Cage and
Punisher.
Oh yeah, the Punisher and Jessica Jones, and we've knocked them out of the park. Well, here is this steaming pile of crap. Andrea, Iron Fist was not good.
I don't know if Andrew's been sarcastic there.
I hope that's sarcasm, because I might cry. Because it was god awful. He was not right at all.
Really
they made him a whiny little baby of a human, and you're like, where is the sass? Where's my
Danny?
I
managed to guess sarcasm right. Nice.
Oh, thank God. I was gonna cry. Because where's my boy? Where's my sassy bitchy boy? No, he just was whiny little man baby.
Weird question for you then. How do you think Marvel Rivals has done? Because I found it really interesting that they've taken like inspiration from a lot of the character designs have been literally taken direct from comic books, and they've obviously quoted which comic book they're from, which series or whatever.
Say, I've been thoroughly impressed with Marvel Rivals so far as a video game, because they have not only put in a good mix of like movie skins, but also comic book skins, and changing up the way the characters look, because again, the characters we've seen in a lot of the films don't necessarily match how they looked in the comic books.
Mantis confused the fuck out of me, didn't it?
Yeah, Mantis caught you off guard because she was more comic book based than she was the film based. But no, I've been very impressed with it, and again, I think that they've taken the time to do their research and put the effort in and make it something that's actually worthwhile. Which again, I think is my big love of Marvel, is that they do take the time. And Stan Lee, God rest his soul, really cared. And I think that's important. I think it's the same way I feel about writers who write, like massive long series and stuff. It's the same reason that while I haven't really read a lot of his work, Brandon Sanderson will always be a bit of an idol, a hero to me, because that is a person who cares so much about what they've written and how it goes out into the world and how it's perceived by people and what's coming next, and taking the time to do what needs to be done to make it the best thing they put in front of you. And that for me is the most important part. Valkyrie, personally, I am a fan of the Loki TV shows. I do enjoy them. Hawkeye, I was thoroughly disappointed by. I
so excited for Hawkeye.
I know I was, and I was disappointed.
I haven't finished it.
The only one of the films I have not watched, and it's purely a casting issue for me, is Captain Marvel, because I am anti Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. Not as a person, she's probably absolutely lovely. I just don't like her as Captain Marvel. There is something about the way she plays the role that just makes every time she's on the screen, I want to lean through the screen and punch her in the face.
Thank God it's not just me.
There is something like it's not even smugness. There is just an irritating quality to her that just makes me go, I just don't like you.
Like I will watch the movie. Like I've watched it like twice or 3 times now. And like the first time I was like, I'm trying really hard to enjoy this movie because a lot of this is really freaking great. But just
I think it had so much promise. But then I think, and I'm going to say, I think a lot of it came about because of the fact that everyone got so arsey about Black Widow's role being overly sexualized. Like the only woman in the Avengers, and she's overly sexualized. And you're like, I don't 100% see that, because again, a lot of her costumes matched what she wore in the comics. She was a spy, so skin-tight leather catsuits were very much her thing. She was a redhead. She was a Russian. She used sex appeal as a way to get what she needed to get, if that was what was needed in the moment. So I think that they went the wrong way by being like, oh, she was just used as a sexual object. And so they wrote Captain Marvel a bit overly feminized. Like it was this whole like, oh, I'm a woman, flips hair, and then just looks down her nose at everyone all the time. And you're kind of like, I get you're a badass. I loved you in the comic books. Valkyrie, I'm 100% with you.
They just went the wrong way with it.
They just wrote her almost like she had to be
in trying to
female icon.
Females.
Yeah, it's
they went the wrong way.
We know what the female gaze is, and then got it fucking wrong. And you're like, amazing. So glad that you
told
don't
you the female gays are lesbians.
Yes, the female gays are lesbians. That joke is never going to stop being funny, dear. Pat, pat, pat.
It's not.
And the funny thing, I didn't read much myself of the Marvel comics growing up, but my cousin did. And it really was his special interest. So he would talk about it all the time. So I know more about Marvel through him than I, at the time, ever wanted to know. But it's helped me become very much oh my god, that's so wrong. When I see
there are certain things like, and the thing is, and the worst part is, so again, I grew up as a girl who was massively into comic books, which in the UK was not a big thing. We were seen in one of two ways: either uber nerdy or the 90s version of a pick-me. I don't even know what the 19th version of a pick-me was, but hey ho. And it was like, oh, you only like that because of boys. I grew up with all guys. Like, I grew up spending a lot of time with my uncle, and all of my friends were boys. So I got into the things that were around me. And then I was like, well, hang on. I really love books. And these are also a form of book. And I'm loving the stories. And I love the fights and the pictures and the artwork. And the dialogue and the way they're back and forth. And again, it was my first kind of proper introduction to characters that were so fucking sassy.
Speaking of sassy Marvel characters, I kinda adore oh my god, I forgot his name. In the newest one. He throws playing cards.
Oh, you're talking about Channing Tatum's
Seriously.
Oh no!
Yeah, the name is just poof.
It's Rogue and Remy LeBeau.
Yeah, thank you. I
like how I had to go.
when
It's Rogue and Remy LeBeau. Oh no! Again, it's another one. He's sassy and he's Cajun, and I love him.
Yes, and I know many people really didn't like him in the movie, but I love it.
They can all out. Not allowed in my house. I'm going to catch up with some of the chat because I know Beans asked,
I was like, oh, yes.
What were your thoughts on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Personally, I thought it was great. Do you know what? I absolutely agree with you. I really enjoyed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. up until the last season.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that one.
The last season, I felt that it was... You know when you're watching something, you've gone a season too far.
Gambit!
Yes.
Thank you.
But yeah, my only problem with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is I think they took it a season too far.
Yeah.
I think they had a really good stop point, and they should have stopped, and then they went, nah, we can get more out of this. And they kept going, and you were like, why? Now you're beating a dead horse now. Tom Hiddleston is Loki to everyone, and will always be, forever, Loki. There used to be a post that would float around Tumblr every so often that was this sort of, like, joke conspiracy theory about how Marvel actually grew all of the actors in a lab specifically for these roles, let them out into the world a bit first so that they kind of mingled and it looked normal, and then dragged them back in because they were built to play these characters. And I am 100% tinfoil hat for it. I think it's real. I genuinely think that's what Stan Lee was up to. I don't think he's dead either. I think he's hiding, building more people for the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm not actually that tinfoil hat, by the way. Just as a... in case my sarcasm is not coming across. But yeah, they've done such a fantastic job. My rant turned into a mega rant. And it's now been like 40 minutes. I mean, my answer to this question of what are your all-time favorite comic books is honestly anything Marvel, but specifically it's got to be the X-Men. 100% Stan Lee is pulling a Walt Disney. 100%. Here for it. I also hope they bring more Gambit. We should have got a movie, and he worked his ass off to get a movie, and Sony did him dirty. And I'm hoping now that it's all back in Marvel's hands, they need to fix the X-Men movies, because the old ones they're good viewing, but I wouldn't say they're good.
No.
The 1987 X-Men cartoons are peak.
Yes. Also, I don't like Cyclops.
No one likes Cyclops.
Just putting that out there. Just bleh.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, like either on a page or on screen, I'm like, can I just punch you, please?
Yep. Yeah, no, he has white savior energy.
Yeah.
White knight energy, that's the word I was looking for, not white savior. They're two very different things.
I understood you.
Always get Hugh back as Wolverine. 100%.
Oh, yeah. That's why
they
love
need to redo the movies because they need to repair what they originally did to Deadpool. They need to wipe that off the face of the planet because that stitched up mouth bullshit needs to just die. Yes, I also loved. Phoenix's. I liked her origin better than I liked her.
Yeah.
Like, I think Sophie Turner did an alright job of her origin story. So I will give her points for that. But yeah. She was a bitch. Yeah, Merc with the mouth without the mouth.
And also, oh my god, Nightwing? No, Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Oh,
Nightwing is
yeah.
DC.
Yeah, DC. I was like, no,
another
that's
mirror
Robin.
image.
So
Deadshot and Deadpool, Nightwing and Nightcrawler.
Yeah. He was also one of my favorites from watching the cartoon growing up. I just really, really enjoyed him.
I liked Alan Cummings' portrayal of him, to be fair. I think he did the job well. I want to see Captain Britain. It's absolutely pointless because he was such a minimal character within the comic book universes, but I want to see Captain Britain. I want to see Captain Canada too. Bring both of them. Get all the captains. All of them. I want a film with
any of
all
those
of them.
in the what ifs?
I think we might have done. But I want to see new Captain America / Falcon with meeting all of the captains. Just bring them all in. Have Cap versus Cap versus Cap, or the Caps versus something else. I'm not fussy. I want a Cap convention. Give me all the Caps.
That's called HatCon.
Okay, what else have we got in the questions? Okay, this one's probably more towards you. Are there any web comics or digital comics you are loving right now?
I'm loving let me double check so I'm saying this name correctly. Because I keep saying it's solo leveling, but it's not solo leveling. Because I read like 100 chapters of both of them at the same time. Second Life Ranker.
Okay. What was the one that I picked up the other day? Sorry, you were saying.
And then I Shall Master This Family.
Well,
I have paid for. She comes back in time with all her memories, and tries to save her family. And it's currently on episode 170, and I have paid actual monies for at least I don't know 120 of these episodes because I'm enjoying this that much.
So I've currently just started. I've not even really read it yet. Trapped in a soap opera. But I have also been recommended. My in-laws are obsessed with me.
Oh, that is amazing!
Yeah, I've been told it's really good. Trash Belongs in the Trash Can.
That's supposed to be fun.
And Raising Hell, A Demon's Guide to Parenting.
That sounds like fun. Like what? Okay, Finna, what do you mean? Like what age to start, or like a good starting point in Marvel Comics specifically, or like?
So it is going to come up actually, in a little while because I know I saw it somewhere. Yeah, there's a question here about: do you prefer reading physical comics, digital formats, or subscription platforms like Comixology? Don't actually know if Comixology still exists or if it's just Amazon now.
Inner comic.
I'm always gonna say Marvel. And
Yeah,
for me,
I
I would say like specifically go for
Valkyrie has a good point. Like, start with a favorite character.
yeah, if you have someone you really like, start with one of them, and they will have a billion storylines because multiverse. But
Yeah.
start with someone that you actually enjoy because of
And
their like.
also-
I love Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl
Yeah,
comics
she's fun.
are the most unhinged amazingness ever.
Yeah.
She's
I
brilliant.
picked one up not like that long ago for the first time, and I'm like, this is pure gold.
It is a bit daunting. I get that,
Oh, yeah.
especially now because you get so many people who are like, "Oh, I own
You have to start
thousands, and
there.
you have to, you have to read the classics. You have to read this." No, you don't.
You have to. The only
Genuinely,
thing
just
you have
pick a
to read is
character.
what you want to read.
Yeah, pick a character. If you can start at one of a season of like a series run, go for it. If not the end of the world. You will
there's-
catch up, you'll come round, you'll join into a different universe somewhere, you'll go round and round in circles 5 times, and then you'll probably end up back at one anyway. Just
Yeah.
there
And
are a
I
lot of good
think-
platforms now as well where you can start. Comixology is a great one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check and see that it still exists because I know Amazon owns
Yeah,
it.
Rune
So
King
it's part of
4 is-
Amazon now.
I've seen a little of that, and I agree. It seems really, really cool.
So yeah.
Let me know if you start it.
So Comixology is now, it was bought over by Amazon and they kept it separate, and now it's not separate. It's just merged into the same thing. So you can really start anywhere. Like, if you like the Spider-Man, you've got the Spider-Verse. You can start there. You can go for new, you can go for old. It's really, really up to you. And again, they're all available on like Kindle and that now, which is great. Because tell you
I will
now,
always be a physical copy person. I had a Kindle for ages, and it's great for, I think, things like novels and stuff where trying to lug around,
no, I 100%
500,
get
600
that.
page books is fucking
But
ridiculous.
the space
But
it takes up to build a comic book collection is
The
ridiculous.
cost.
It's
the cost of it.
Yeah, but take the cost aside, because the cost of collecting anything, it is space. Because they think that you think they're small.
They're
And
not.
one run is chunky. Start getting into like a whole universe, you'll take over rooms. Like, I know people who have storage units that are like heat temperature regulated and to stop moisture and everything. The amount of money they spend just to keep their comic book safe is ridiculous.
I mean, if you want to do that, if you have the money to do that, go for it. But don't feel like you have to buy like number 1 of the physical copy, because there are so many good apps that will let you buy or subscribe for a monthly fee to read any which comic.
Yeah, and there are like, again, if we're just talking Marvel, but I know there's a lot of them. There are comic book subscription boxes. So if you do want physical ones, you can go and join one of them and get a new one every month and start there and build it up that way if you want to. Or you can just go and buy, like, I'd like to go and buy certain editions. I don't want to own every single Marvel. Well, I mean, I'd love to, but I know full well that I do not will never have the space or the money to own every Marvel comic book on the planet. But I'd love to go and buy certain editions that have almost like sentimental value to me. And then display them. But they would purely be, these are for display, not for reading. In response to Valkyrie's, my Kindle is for my funny haha romance books. My Kindle is for my like smut books. That's the I can't leave lying around in front of the kids kind of books.
I had a Kindle at school just simply for the fact of trying to lug around 900-page monsters was horrible to try to do in a backpack. with other
Oh,
school
God.
books.
Feels
I
so
swear
old
that
right
I
now.
genuinely swear that is why 90% of us have back issues.
Yeah.
Like
I
my
used
kids
to-
don't have to take books to school. They don't have like textbooks or stuff that they take home. And I'm like,
No,
you do not understand the pain that we went
I used-
through.
I used to take my, for anyone who's read like the Chronicles of Shannara, they do a version of that book that is all the like the trilogy is in one book, and then the other 4 from the are in another book. So you're looking around books that are like 1,200 to 1,500 pages long.
Beans, I've just remembered that you're in the UK. And yes, those frigging A-level textbooks were fucking ridiculous.
Some schools do fucking like lockers now for kids.
No, they
What's
don't.
that?
But they don't have textbooks they take home. They leave them in school. And then it's like, if you need to access this for revision, just go to this website or log into Teams. And I'm like, are you joking? Are you actually kidding me? Because, like, and like, so my eldest, they only do 5 lessons in a day. We did 7 in secondary school. And every one of them had an exercise book we had to take in with us.
Yeah,
And a textbook that we had to take in with us.
checking
English
your planner
was
every
2.
day, so you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had
Checking
your
your planner
school
every
planner
day
that
to
came in,
know-
but English had 2 because you had English language and English literature, so that was 2 separate textbooks. But both you had to take because they didn't tell you beforehand which one you would be doing that day. Just you had English, so that was fucking helpful. And yeah, like, oh my god, like I'm like, no wonder my back is dead. Because, like, fuck this. And then my daughter just duddies on in with her little tote bag. She has like a little pencil case in there. Most of that's in there is friggin' makeup. I'm like, I didn't have space. The ugliest, biggest, plain black backpack going just for textbooks, and then would occasionally sneak in an actual book. Speaking of the big fit all the trilogies in one, they've actually just done that. Someone's done a book binding of ACOTAR that is all 6 books in one book. The thing looks like a stool.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's
It's
almost
fat.
like
It is
Nerdforge
very
did
fat.
the Wheel of Time one.
Oh my god. You'd need 2
I
people to
think it was
carry that.
Nerdforge. It was really tall.
Yeah, that's not a stick in your backpack to read on the bus kind of book, is it?
No.
Okay, so let's do a question for the chat. Actually, I'm going to do a question based on Valkyrie's Batman and Catwoman wedding comic. What is your ultimate dream crossover between comic characters? If you could get a comic book tomorrow that had any universe crossover, so it could be your favorite manga characters and Marvel, it could be DC and One Piece, it could be whatever. Who is your favorite who is your dream crossover?
Oh.
Let's hear some chaos.
Oh dear, the possibilities are endless.
My
The
brain's just gone
possibilities are endless.
My
So
brain's
my
just gone
brain is like all
86
over the place.
and Evangelion at the minute.
I mean,
Like, that'd be fucking amazing.
oh,
Like Shin in a fucking mech, like that would be amazing.
or imagine like Erwin from Attack on Titan in like our universe, like with any Marvel character,
With
and
the
be like,
Hulk.
what? Oh yeah, that would be great. Oh my god, that would be brilliant. Or like,
See, for me, just for the funniness of it, because they have so many similarities, I'd want to do My Hero Academia cross Marvel. Because like
That
All
would be
Might and
cool.
Cap would be funny as
No,
fuck.
my brain
Froppy
went
and
to
Spider-Man would be just adorable together.
my brain has also gone Jujutsu Kaisen and Blue Exorcist.
Oh,
Okay, kind of funny, yeah. Yeah, no, that would be funny. I just think there's a
Again,
few
I
that
am a
you could
manga
really.
person, not a comic book person, so
Squirrel Girl and Panda from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes. Oh, that would be hilarious. But then I'd also like another one I'd love to see is if Greek mythology and the Marvel universe, because I'd love to see like Loki and Hermes together.
Oh yes.
Because I just think the two of them would just be like, oh, yeah, let's go have fun. And then you just have Doctor Strange just being like, I'm fucking out. Like if they
Thank you,
break something,
bye.
let me know. But otherwise, I'm not dealing. I'm not babysitting this shit.
Nope.
Zeus and Thor.
Cape is like,
just-
no, stay. We must watch.
Thor's just freaking golden retrievering everywhere, and Zeus is trying to sleep with everyone.
Mm.
And there's just Queen playing Thunderbolts and Lightning, very, very threatening me in the background.
Oh my god, yes. And in the background you have like, oh, probably like, oh, Spider-Man going like, do you need assistance?
No,
I'm
he's
sorry.
so cute. The question was, what would be your dream crossover between comic characters? Can be anything. Can be mangas and comic book. Can be anything you like. We've had some interesting combos so far.
Or maybe... Oh, you know what? Actually, we have... Spider-Man, Batman sounds fun. We have this duck comic that was actually sued by Disney for infringement of having the duck looks too much like Donald Duck.
Okay.
So the comic had him wear a different beak over his regular duck beak for a year of comics to get out of the looking like Donald Duck. I want him and like, I don't know, maybe Gambit and Loki. Just
Okay, but like I want to see. No, it's not basic at all. Spider-Man and Batman, I think would be funny. You're putting the
Yeah.
Bug Boys together. Like, and Batman's so grumpy, and Spider-Man is such a baby. Like, is he gonna try and adopt him? Is it gonna be like,
oh, Loki and Joker. Oh my god.
like what's gonna happen? Who knows?
Oh my
okay.
god.
Have you seen Nick something or other on TikTok? And he does
He does, yeah.
the Batman
the
family,
Batman and
the Addams family.
Oh yeah,
They
it's
are so
amazing.
good. Yeah, no, 100%. It is actually my biggest gripe with Batman versus Superman is that he was like, I'm gonna kill Superman, I'm gonna kill Superman, and then it was like, wait, your mom and my mom have the same name? Okay. And you were just like, oh my god, you're so fucking basic. You need therapy.
Yep. I think a good like just like a funny crossover that's already a crossover is the multiverse with Spider-Man's, because some of those crossovers with different types of Spider-Man is just amazing.
Oh yeah. Again, I just want I
Okay.
want an Avengers Endgame level, bring everyone in, but
Mhm.
get everyone, and then just go
Oh, Thor and Wonder
like
Woman
make
would
them
be
all
funny.
do get all the DC characters, all the Marvel characters, and make them do like Thanksgiving. That's what I want to see. No big fight, just make them try and be normal human beings for a day. No.
How do you know each other? We work together. Dot 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 dot.
For another hour pocket. Sorry, I'm being infiltrated with small bean. Yes, small bean.
The small one has almost fallen asleep in the sofa behind me.
Thing is, Tony would just win in the end because he'd be like, "Yeah, but I am Iron Man. Like, I don't hide myself.
Okay, but
I fucking own it.
what about
Own that
what
shit."
about Iron Man versus Superman?
That wouldn't be your one-on-one.
No,
I
I
don't
don't
even
think.
know.
I don't think they. I mean,
I don't know
I don't
who
think
is
they
the.
would
I
have that
suppose
much
Thor would
issue with
be
each other.
Superman's equivalent in Marvel.
Now, Romans, Emma Frost, and Punisher or Venom. I mean, I could see that. And I do enjoy the oh, the cameos from Venom in the Deadpool Wolverine. Venom Superman. Yeah. Not sure how long Venom would survive, or Superman for that matter.
I think that would be hilarious because Superman is so holy,
Yeah.
wholesome, and Venom is just like, I want to
Chaos.
eat people. Let me eat people. And he's just like, no. But also, he kind of doesn't need it. He doesn't need the symbiote because he has all the super strength and everything anyway. So, but you know, for like again, like Deadpool in any of them would just be funny. Like I think Deadpool and Harley Quinn would be a giggle together because they're both fucking nuts. But
Yeah.
like she'd be talking about her relationship with Joker, and he'd just be like, "Oh, honey boo, like no, we're doing better than that. We're getting better men than this."
Oh. Yeah, that would be fun.
Like Bruce Wayne's been trying to deal with the Joker for years, and Deadpool just comes along, shoots him in the head, and is just like, "That's for Harley."
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That. You know what? I want that. I need that. Harley needs that. Please and thank you.
What else have we got? What else have we got? Actually, we're going to take a quick break. So there's going to be breaks. There's going to be ads running while we go on break. So feel free to leave the stream open, go get yourself a tea or a coffee, stretch your legs. And we will be back in 5 minutes.
Yay!
And we're back. So I popped a new poll up for you. We're asking about genres. I'll be interested to see what you guys think. Hi! I love seeing my little raccoons being used. Makes me happy.
Apologies for dying in the background.
That's okay. As I said at the beginning, we are all still dying. I've never been hit with a simple flu that genuinely felt like it was out to kill me.
This wasn't a simple flu, I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't. But there was a very brief moment on Thursday afternoon where I said to you, didn't I? If this doesn't
I
get
was
better,
very much in the mood about I was close to calling the ambulance, yeah.
it was very much like, if this doesn't get better, I might actually have to go and get checked out, because I got to a point where my entire left eye was essentially swollen shut. My head felt like my brain was swelling and it was going to explode. It was horrific. Never quite experienced pain like it.
Ooh.
And I mean, Monday, all of Monday, I was essentially unconscious. I think I was not awake for longer than 10 minutes at a time.
Well, that was it. I came down.
You came down Monday and Thursday.
Yeah,
I think were my
Tuesday I
two
started
worst
feeling a
days.
bit rough, and then Wednesday it hit me like a ton of bricks.
That's genuinely why
then-
I put in the announcement earlier. The flu tried to take me from you guys, but I fought back. Came back for you.
And we appreciate it. Please don't get sick again.
I'd like not to.
You deserve to not be sick.
I was like,
You deserve to be sick.
This is what being old is like, where just even a slight cold has you feeling like you're going to die? Because I don't like this. I don't want this. Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I, as stated earlier, I'm getting slightly sick now. I have a minor cold. And I stayed up until, well, I went to bed at 5 a.m. this morning.
See, that's where we went wrong. We didn't get a minor cold; we got an adult cold, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
No, and when the kids wanted to go up at 9, I pretty much kicked Housebound out of the bed and like, you have to take care of the kids because I can't move because everything hurts. And he's like, yeah, that happens when you don't have a cold, or when you have a minor cold, stay up for 22 hours and aren't 20 anymore. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, no, this is
me why
the
it hurts.
thing. Like, I know people always say about when you turn 30, like everything goes downhill, but I'm like, I used to stay up all night. I'd go, like, I'd get cold, I'd mainline a load of monsters, and then just sleep for like 12 hours, and then get up and be like, oh, I'm fine. Now, like, I haven't eaten properly in a week. I think I've had 3 meals this entire week. I'm struggling to drink tea still because it tastes weird. Like, everything has gone wrong. Like, all my bones hurt.
Yep.
Like, all of my joints went, and that's actually what started me. So I woke up, obviously, our second youngest was ill first. She got ill the Friday before last and was ill all weekend.
Oh, she had like a mini seizure, didn't she?
Yeah, no, she had a couple of fever seizures. I will add to that, Beans. I have got chronic illness, as does Sai and Une. So we're probably not the poster children for life in your 30s, because we're all dying anyway. But I went into 30 being like, it's not going to be as bad as everyone says it is. And actually, one thing I will say is my life has been infinitely better since turning 30. I'm just sore.
You're welcome.
All the time. and I
You're welcome.
crack like a broken glow stick.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, dear.
I
Your
mean,
humility is showing.
Let me tuck it back in. Apologies.
I didn't get access to the surgeries until I passed my 30s, and I mean, overall, my pain is better now, but yeah, living with chronic pain for 15 plus years is
Oh,
gonna
like
take a toll.
my pain was something I've complained about since I was about 10 years old. Like at first it was, I was diagnosed with a blood clotting disorder that was apparently hereditary, so I bruise easier than most anyway, and shit like that. But then it was like I would do a little bit of sport, and then my ankles would blow up, and I'm like, I am in so much pain. I'm like barely walk and everything. And it was growing pains apparently, and then it was, oh no, you're flat-footed, and so we'll give you insoles, and that'll help, and that did nothing. And then it was, you just kind of live with that as it is, and there's nothing more we can do. You're just flat-footed. And then it was steroid injections in my ankles, and then from that it was, oh, you're autistic. Oh, this could be something completely different. We now have to reevaluate everything. And even now, like almost a year after being diagnosed, and they're still like, we've got no idea why every single one of your joints hurts, because it's not just your ankles now, it's your wrists and your fingers and your shoulder, and like it's just a fucking nightmare. I'm 25 and I've not been able to run or even jog since I was like 18, which sucks when you've got young kids that want to run around and play. It's just like, I wish I could. Instead, I'm going to do the one thing I can do, which is pick up heavy shit. So I'm going to throw you in the air and catch you.
Yep.
I am
Or
not
Or
allowed to run.
or as Violet likes to be how do I say Violet enjoys being shook violent, or our youngest enjoys being shook violently without it sounding like I'm trying to murder her?
She likes
just
to
like
be.
that, essentially.
She likes the vibration of being shook.
You know, like when you go over like cobblestones or stuff in a trolley when you were a kid,
Yeah.
and you would always go like, So
that's why I say that she
Yeah.
enjoys the vibrations.
That's what she's like. She'll lean against your knees, and then she'll just go and wait for you to like bounce your knees against her stomach.
She's got to the point now though.
And then she'll like get you to like put your hand on her belly and just like shake her.
Yeah,
just a very strange child. There you go. Emberleaf has said she likes the jiggles.
She likes the jiggles. I think a lot of men can relate to liking the jiggles.
That's probably the nicest way you're gonna put it without sounding like you're trying to give a child shaken baby syndrome. She's also not a baby; she's 4.
But it's very funny because she has got to the point.
Will be around for another half an hour or so. So if you do get bedtime done simply, and I pray that you do, you're always welcome to come back and join us.
Yeah, she's got to the point now where she will actively get me to put my hands like over her ribcage and pick her up like you would, like I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, and she will have me just hold her by like the sternum and just really like aggressively just like give her a shake or like push her into the pillows and do it.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's so funny to watch.
Child.
Yeah.
Our youngest is the same, and he really enjoys when you tickle him. He's like, "Mom, tickle." Like, but
so other things that she enjoys. So I do the the dog sniff.
Yeah.
This is a hidden talent of mine, chat. You're learning something about me today. I am actually a pretty dab hand at the dog sniff. That dog sniff. I don't know if that sound on Discord came through to
I think so.
stream. But yes, that one I can do remarkably well, if I do say so myself. She's obsessed with it. Like, we'll be out in public, and then she'll just lean into me and be like, do the sniff. And you look like a lunatic, but she just howls with laughter. and she's just a nut job. I always thought she was going to be the calm, quiet one.
You know, and then
And I was
she hit like
very wrong.
3 and
I
realized
will
just
say
how
she was-
autistic she was.
She was the easiest baby going. Yeah, no,
What
she also likes being yeeted at the couch or on like the bed. Just throw
No, the
her
one
across the room.
is I will lay on the bed and she will like clamber on top of me, and then she wants to fly, which is me basically again grab her sort of under the ribcage or around the ribcage and just launch her into the air above me, and either like holding her or just like at the top just let go a little bit, and she loses it. Or being hung upside down. That's the other one.
Yeah,
She doesn't. She
but
will
I
let
can't
me
say
grab
anything 'cause
her
I
by.
like being upside down.
Yeah, but there's a difference between laying upside down, which is what you like to do, and asking me to grab her by the ankles and spin her in a circle.
No, what I'm saying is I've always liked being upside down. Like I was the kid on those bar things in the playground that just hung upside down for like hours.
No, and
I do
and
it
I
now.
agree with
Like
that, but I'm saying
I hang off the sofa, and it's a very strange thing. And I always sound a bit weird when I say this. The most comfortable position I can sit in is to have my feet over the back of the sofa and my head hanging off the bottom of it. And I will just sit like that. I will read like that, or I will just sit there happily upside down. Don't know why. I just find it endlessly comforting. So superheroes won our poll for the comic book genre you love most. Not going to say I'm massively surprised. Who fancies a new poll?
Sure
Do
thing.
something a bit fun. Let's see something that might get some chat going. So, we'll go with this one.
What more fun have you in store for us?
Ah.
Hello, child.
Twitch, you American beast. Stop telling me the word favourite is spelt wrong. It has a U. I will fight you.
Please don't
Oh.
die on us, Sam.
I'm doing my damnedest. You should have heard me yesterday.
Yeah,
I was like,
yesterday you were pretty bad.
you know the old fashioned tea kettles where they boil, they whistle. That was my voice. I was nothing. Like it was not even a whisper.
Mm. Yeah.
So I've still got some lingering symptoms. I think the worst one, the one I'm struggling with the most, is I have gained such bad brain fog.
Oh God, yeah. Our ability to it's why we kind of struggle with balls like words and names and everything. Because for some
I sat
reason
there
it has
yesterday
literally
and oh my god, I could not think of Jeff Goldblum's name. It was right there. And the only way I can describe it at the moment is I go to say something and it's like all of the words I need are on like a pegboard in front of me, and all I have to do is grab them off the board, and that will be me saying them. And I'm trying to grab them, but they're just constantly out of reach. Like I can see them, they are right there. I know exactly what I want to say, and then it's just, huh.
I've been cluttering a
I
lot,
do not
haven't I?
do them.
Oh,
I've
and
been
my extra one is obviously I'm already partially deaf in my left ear, courtesy of an idiot spinning a microphone at a gig when I was younger. I am now more deaf in my left ear. So I'm not fully deaf. I still have some hearing from it. I would just say we've now probably got like 5% hearing left instead of where I had like 25 before. So that makes things fun. Because my kids
It's fine,
like,
you
just
never listen to me anyway.
No, I know. But yeah, my kids are like, I was lying down last night and they start talking to me and I'm like lifting my head going, what? And they're like, oh yeah, okay, you're deaf. I'm like, thank you, I suppose. And yes, we were all meant to be better by now. We absolutely were.
We've been chugging cough syrup and sinus relief.
You tried a new cough syrup. Oh, it was so funny.
It was horrible. I learned that I just had to like down it in one because trying to take 2 like spoonfuls of it was just making me ugh. But no, the brain fog is a weird one. For me, it's more like physical, as in like you stand up, but you don't really feel like you're actually all there. So you're walking around in just like a bit of a daze. But the other one is I struggle with speech anyway. It's why I love my job, because 90% of my job is writing. And with writing, you can take the words, put them on the page, and then you can reorder them if it doesn't sound right. But when it comes to speech, because you only really get like one shot at a sentence, you have to make sure the words are so right first time. And I misuse words, I misorder them, but I do something called cluttering, which is where you will put the beginning of one word and the end of another together, should they follow each other.
Yep.
It's a different form of stuttering.
Basically, I do stutter as well, but that's just because my brain's too fast for my mouth. Or my mouth's too fast for my brain, whichever one. But yeah, like I will, for some reason, I've just been like merging words together constantly, or swapping words
sadly
around.
do that when writing.
See, I think that's been the hardest thing for me, is obviously being wordy in both writing and in speech is kind of 90% of my personality.
You're a talker.
I am a talker. I'm a writer too, and I like to be as verbose as possible. I am the opposite of why use words when less words will do. Like, if I can write a paragraph where I could have written a sentence, I will write the damn paragraph. And I've been
I
struggling.
literally tell you.
But yeah, so his thing is, every time I go and tell a story, because ADHD as well, so everything is important until I get to the end.
Yep.
And I'm ADHD, so I'm just impatient and like concise.
So his thing is, like, every time I start telling a story, he's like, "Stop going around the houses," and that's our way of saying, like, stop.
TLDR.
Yeah.
I just tell you to TLDR it for me, no.
Yeah, but I'm no good at that either. I'm like, no, why? Let me tell you the whole story. I need to tell you all the intricate little bits as well. You need to know everything to get the full story.
I let you rant unless it's like I'm really struggling.
But yeah,
if I have the capacity to do it, I'll let you do it.
Since having this flu, the hardest part has been for me is that not only am I struggling to speak because I know what I want to say, or I know the answer to something, and my brain just cannot grasp it, but I'm also really struggling to type. Like, I
that's
find
just
that's
coordination.
difficult. And like today, I was trying to I was just doing food shopping, and I was trying to put food, like, write names of foods into the search bar to put my food shop together, and between not being able to think what the word was and then spelling it wrong because I was just pressing the wrong keys, and I'm like, I type for a living, like, this is me. Why am I not working? So yeah, it's been fun, definitely. I was really, really sad to have not been able to do this last week. We definitely wanted to get in. Obviously the original plan was to do the holiday special this week, which was going to be our pre-Christmas.
We've decided to do a bit of a show and tell next, haven't we?
Was supposed to be our pre-Christmas book chat, where we were going to talk about, like, what you guys might be looking forward to in terms of presents and what we're going to do instead, because we're now going to be doing that next week. So it's going to be after Christmas. Will be the holiday special, because I still think it's the holiday season in between Christmas and New Year. But we will do a, like, what did you get for Christmas? What are you looking forward to? Like, has anyone got any challenges in mind for the new year? I know, obviously, with it being 2025, the big one is 25 and 25, but I also know a lot of you guys devour books like oxygen. So you'll probably do that in the first week, you know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, so yeah, just kind of, we're gonna do a catch up, see how you're feeling, and then do a bit of a new year, new book kind of vibe. And obviously the other thing that we have, so tomorrow is the last day of our 12 days of Bookmas. So we will have our last freebie going up, and then on Tuesday, being Christmas Eve, we will be putting up the post that you can join in for the big New Year's giveaway. Big New Year's giveaway. Well, we're going to have some things to help you with that, Valkyrie, because I also need to try and read more. I have been thoroughly disappointed in my reading this year.
I have bought you so many books.
I know, you have.
I have,
keep
like,
adding to my
it's-
TBR, and I'm so excited to read all of them, but I've had such struggle this year with reading slumps. This has been the worst year on record for me, with just inability to sit down and read a damn book.
Whenever I go out, I always like keep in mind sort of your preferences when it comes to just general things, so mythology, but specifically like Greek,
Give me my Greek boys.
paganism, fairy porn, like
Big
whatever
three.
it might be.
Yeah.
And so I will go to Sainsbury's and I'll have a look through their book aisle and stuff. And especially if I know like you're having a bit of a rough time, I will 100% be like, I think it's time to get a book and maybe like a little cuddly or some chocolates or
them fair.
something. And
All the fair.
yeah.
Give me them all.
And so I come home
No,
and
because the one you got me the other day is amazing because it's not only does it have Greek mythology, but it also has the fae and fairy porn. It's 3 in 1.
I got all 3. Yeah, I've nailed it. It's what's it called?
Move it.
Just getting it. One moment.
Un
Please hold.
momento, por favore. I don't know why we went Spanish. but
The West.
The West Wind by Alexandra Warwick.
That
It
was
is a
it.
faithful servant, a treacherous god, and a path paved with temptation. And it says, a darkly reimagined tale of forbidden in love, inspired by the Greek myth of Hero and Leander, and the Scottish ballad of, wait for it, Tamlin. Fucking Tamlin, boys and girls.
So I can nailed that one. I was quite proud of myself.
I've
Yeah, I was quite proud of that find. But so I do all that, and I got you When the Moon Hatched.
Yes.
Powerless and Restless and
Reckless.
What are the
Not Restless.
Reckless.
No,
You are restless.
see, Tamlin indeed, when we talk about Akatar's Tamlin.
Yeah.
However,
Tamlin.
actual Tamlin,
Yes.
not an at all.
No.
Actually a boss.
Which
we're
why I
here
was
for.
so sad with
We're
that.
But yeah,
here
so
for
I
Tamlin.
do this thing. I go out, I get these books. I'm like, you know what? She'll read these. She'll sit down and she'll read these. You fucking read them.
Oh, I don't. I did it. You bought me that on Oh, when did you buy that? Wednesday, Thursday?
I bought that one on Thursday.
Yeah. And then I went out yesterday to do some Christmas shopping, and
Yeah.
I went.
Oh, you got your
and I went-
Illumicrate as well.
Oh yes. So Illumicrate changed websites. They got a new website, and I was signed up to them because you got me one for my birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd obviously cancelled since then because I didn't want one every month. And then they changed website, but because I had it on like a pause, not a full cancellation, when they changed website, it restarted my subscription without telling me it had restarted my subscription. Which wasn't particularly great of them, but they did send me an email to apologise. And so a random box turned up the other day and we were like, the fuck? I'm a little sad. It's one that I would have skipped had I known about it, because it's not particularly my cup of tea.
Lesbian cyberpunk, isn't it?
It is lesbian cyberpunk, which is not my usual read, but I'm gonna give it a go because you never know. But yeah, I got a mug that was, I've no idea what book's on it, but it's a pretty solid mug, and you can't go wrong with a mug. So I'm reasonably happy with that. I got a makeup case that I'm using as a pencil case, which is actually banging because it's humongous. I got bookmarks that have character art on them.
You got a calendar.
I'm not a big fan of.
You got the calendar that
people
was
on books. I don't know if other people agree with me on this. I prefer art, not people.
Yes.
Oh, I've got you loads of bookmarks. I got you the FF ones. I got you
I've got FF
the
ones. I've got my beautiful
Fourth
dragon one for
Wing.
Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
I know. And then I put them all down, and then I never use them. I use scraps of paper or receipts or
Yeah,
envelopes
no,
because
This is
I
the
have
thing.
ADHD, and unless it
Yeah.
is fucking physically attached to my being, it's not coming with me.
Yeah,
I pick
no,
up all
I buy
these
you.
bookmarks on Comic-Con every time or any other con I
No,
go
I've got.
to, and they're
I
just
buy you
love a
all these
good book.
wonderful,
Attack.
wonderful gifts. I buy you all these wonderful gifts, and they just get thrown to the wayside.
Yeah. I love a good bookmark. I
I'm
love
Yeah.
a good bookmark.
really bad at you.
No, Ember, she so you used to buy me snacks, and then I was like, I don't want snacks because with me not going to
I was
the
about to
gym
say,
as
can we
much.
just pause for a second? He has spent all this time detailing how all the lovely things he buys me. He has yet to point out that I also buy him
Almost
lots of things
like,
in
almost
return.
like I was just about to do
I
that.
know, just
Literally,
digging the knife
and
in a
you
little bit here.
decided to interrupt, so I might just not now.
That's all right. I'll talk about it. I know
So-
absolute sweet fuck all about Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, and yet I still go out of my way to buy both Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering cards every time I see them.
You do a very good job of it.
And they,
But yeah,
I'm
we
sorry to
basically-
say, are not cheap in any way, shape, or form for tiny wee
No,
bits of
no.
cardboard.
No.
I'm so fucking excited, Valkyrie. So excited. I cannot wait. Oh, yes,
Oh.
no, I can't wait until Onyx Storm. Just give me now.
All right.
Speaking of
I was supposed
Magic
to read
quickly,
book
you
2.
know, I just built a Fey deck.
A pack of Pokemon
Fair.
cards absolutely is the same price as a book. However, I don't just buy a singular pack because I don't know anything about them. So I keep
You say
buying.
that.
No, the only reason I bought you the two little Magic the Gathering ones is because that was literally all they had.
Oh, yeah, because
But usually with the Pokemon ones, I tend to buy the ones that have the little like holographic coins and shit in it because I think that feels more involved than just a wee packet. And then I'm like, holy shit, that was 30 quid. Like,
No,
what
no,
the
no,
fuck?
no. They're not.
Some of them.
They're not 30 quid.
Some of them have
No,
been.
they're. Yeah, some of the big tins that we've got together have been, but the pack
Tin-
3
tins,
with the
that's all.
card in.
Yeah, I've got a couple of the tins.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you haven't. I'm not denying you the nice things you bought me. You've bought me plenty of wonderfully nice things. But yeah, I'm just making sure the packs of 3 that you get are normally about 15 quid, and the books normally range anywhere from like 7 quid to 11 quid, which is why I normally top up with like chocolate or a plushie or something. It depends on obviously what
I
money
mean, to
I've
be
got
fair,
lying
you also
around at
bought
the
me a
time.
plushie recently and then took it home with you.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm not going to deny that one, but you have dog.
You fell in love with Koo.
I did, and you have dog. Can you tell that I name my
Yes, can you tell
stuffed
he's
animal?
autistic? Because I bought him it's a
To preface this, I have never been allowed stuffed
cuddly
animals ever from the age of after age 10.
Yeah,
So
that's
she got me
bullshit.
this thing, and I was obsessed.
Oh no, it was our first Valentine's Day.
It
I
was
think.
because I got you the bear that's on the bookshelf.
No, you got him for my birthday.
We're kind of doing that, I suppose.
I'm not. So I'm.
You got me
and
bear.
it's
You got me the bear. You got me
Mhm.
Barnabas
Peregrine.
Bear. No, Peregrine's the dinosaur. Barnabas Bear you got for my birthday,
I know
along
that.
with flowers.
Yes.
And then for for the first Valentine's Day, you got me Peregrine, who is again proper naming technique here. They have fucking
No.
proper names. Yeah, I go and
No.
get him a really cute, snuggly, like golden
Dog.
doodle dog toy, and I go, "What are you gonna name it?" Dog.
Yeah.
You're gonna name it
And
Dog. Yes, I'm gonna name it Dog. And then he
'Cause
comes
it's a
home
dog.
recently and he's bought me, I don't know if you know what hotties are, but they're like
So,
lavender
hotties?
scented, yeah, they're hotties. Lavender scented bean filled stuffies that you can put in the microwave to heat up. So then they can be warm and you can snuggle them and they're warm. And I was like, it's a Highland coo, so it's got to have a Scottish name. So I called it Hamish, because that's a good solid name for a Highland coo. No, he's nicked it, and its name is Coo.
I didn't realize it was going to be such a sensory thing for me, but the lavender smell mixed with the beads inside, and it's soft and fluffy, just like it's the perfect like weighted fidget toy type thing. It comes with me on client calls when I'm at work. All my clients know I'm autistic, and so he will sit on the desk and they will just see me like messing with this cow. It's great.
You've had quite a few
Um,
stuffies out of me, because you've got the octopus that turns inside out.
That was Emmy, wasn't it? That was Emmy's Christmas present.
Ah, that was right. Yeah, no, Emmy
Yep.
got you that one.
Dratini.
I got you Dratini, yeah.
Yeah. Our youngest has nicked so many of the ones I bought for you. I bought you Eevee, gone.
Yeah,
Cobb,
you got me Eevee, gone. Cobb the
Gone.
tiger is gone. That was my Mother's Day gift. She's a wee thief. The minute you bring in any stuffy into this house, the youngest looks at it and goes, "Oh, I'ma have you." I need to do. Oh, I don't. Can you
say
put a
Valkyrie.
picture?
It's in
Put a
Sainsbury's.
picture of Coo. I don't know if Valkyrie's in the UK. No, I think Valkyrie's US. It's Beans that's UK, so she won't know what Sainsbury's is.
Right.
Sainsbury's is
right.
our version of Walmart, but less. A lot less.
Yes, I also want a cow.
He's a very cute coo.
I was
Specifically a
gonna
coo
try and
because he's a
pronounce it that
Highland
way,
coo.
but
Not to be confused with like a dairy cow. That's a cow.
not the same.
A coo is like ginger, horns, emo
Yeah.
fringe. That's a Highland coo.
They are so pretty.
They are. They're the best.
Right. You know what? I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you, and then you can put it up. Because
You can literally just. Okay. Don't think I can post photos in. Oh, I wonder if I can put it on. I might be able to put it on stream. Hang on a moment. I'm going to try something here. I might break it, but we'll see. Also, you have to see the t-shirt, the jumper I sent you. Have you seen the jumper I sent you yet? I sent
No.
him a photo earlier of a sweater, to use a more Americanized term, that has
Whereabouts?
a Snapchat that has a raccoon wrapped in a
Oh.
blanket that says "Even baddies get saddies," and I want
Aww.
it because mood.
Here you go.
Right,
I'll send
thank
you
you.
Cooter on Snapchat.
Oh, Coo with his little smug face. Yep, that's the way.
Yeah.
Are you
Smug Coo.
messing around with Magic the Gathering?
No. That picture's from yours.
Oh, right.
One's from yours, one's from mine.
So I got
fucking
Houseboat.
TTS in the background.
I got Houseboat for his birthday a couple years back. It's this really cute owl with a book and a mug. That's what I do. I read books, I drink coffee, and I know things. I also bought him a matching sweater or jumper. Sadly, the jumper got misplaced in the move.
That sucks.
Do
You
know
just nick
what?
on you
This
just nick all my
phone-
jumpers, don't you?
Yeah, I absolutely do. That's my job.
It's little everything. Pajamas, jumpers, t-shirts.
Yep.
Oh god.
Trying to find anything in this phone when you download it is the one thing I hate the most about this phone.
But yeah, no, it is one of those things where like so obviously with Christmas coming up, like I suck with the holidays. I suck with birthdays, Christmas a lot, because trying to figure out what to give someone is a terrifying ordeal, and I'd much rather just not do it. But also retaining information on people is incredibly difficult. And so I just like remembering birthdays is horrible. I'm also crap at keeping secrets because I hate like lying to people about shit. Lying is one of the most horrible things I could ever think of doing. Have you sent me?
I've sent you it so I could get it on my computer.
Right, okay.
I'm doing
and
things.
so like
Being techie.
for
Bear with me. Image.
I kind of just grab things throughout the year. And it's great because Ari is incredibly understanding and knows that I just don't celebrate anything. I don't celebrate my own birthday. I don't celebrate any of the holidays really. I do it now for the kids and for her, especially with her being pagan. There's certain holidays that she celebrates and stuff. But like for me, it's just
Hey!
not.
He's on stream.
Is he on stream?
He is. Just trying to make him not humongous. Yeah,
I want one.
There he
very
is.
slowly resizes. There's Q.
There is Q. But
Q
yeah,
the
so
moon.
whenever I go out, it's just like, oh, I'm out. I'll see what I can buy if I've got some spare cash lying around and just treat you to something. And that way it just works easier. You get showered with gifts throughout the year, and that way it's like
Very spoilt.
because I'm shit at remembering actual days.
That's
But
fine.
also just
Well,
like,
you know, I was saying,
simple.
so I went out Christmas shopping yesterday, and I went into Waterstones, which is the UK equivalent of Barnes and Noble, because I thought I'd get the kids some like bookish stuff for their Christmas, and still came away with a book for myself, even though I've got overflowing shelves.
Oh, that bookcase is so fat now, like it's spilling out the sides.
Oh yeah, no, we've got to the point where the shelves are all full, and now I'm stacking on the front of the shelves more stuff. So it's getting bad, but we're moving soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
And that
Touch
will
wood.
include, touch all the wood. And that will include an office for me and for you separately. So I will have the space to put up lots of bookshelves, which means I get to buy more books. Ha 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 ha. But I can't even remember what it was. Give me 2 seconds.
Can bring you more books to not read because you haven't read anything I bought yet. One of the ones I did. Oh, actually, I bought you 2 of them now, and this was the other thing was. I was actually really happy I found this because I don't think there'll be another one like it. I was in Sainsbury's.
Almanac.
I am talking about your almanac. Like there's always an almanac every year that comes out, and there was one for 2024, and I'd found it, and it was the last one on the shelf. And obviously, the reason people had like picked it up and then put it back and picked another one was because it had been printed upside down and back to front.
Oh my god, that's great!
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's
and everyone else had been like
fucked print because it is both back, as you said, it's backwards and upside down. It's amazing.
My god,
I love it. So
and
much.
everyone had obviously picked it up and then put it down to be like, no, I don't want that. And I'm like, that is, how could you not buy that? That's like the best thing to buy. And then the 2025 one came out, and I bought it for you. And the first thing you said was, "Is it fucked like the other one?" And I was like, "Unfortunately,
one,
not."
But no, I also bought myself a very funky version of Light Lark. I haven't had a chance to read yet, but it comes in a case. It's in a premium metallic slipcase with a satin cover and foil stamping, and has an 8-page bonus romance scene. Also has map illustrated end papers, full colour art inserts with character and seed illustrations, and stained edges with crown stenciling. This is
that's a lot of fancy.
Is a lot of fancy. Spotted it hidden away in a corner and was like, I'm having that, thank you. Because we love a sprayed edge and we love some foil, and it is beautiful.
Definitely had some stained edges considering the 8-page romance scene.
Hell yeah. But it is very, very beautiful. So that's also on my list. I'm going to be putting our 12 pages of Bookmas through their paces, because that's got lots of
it is
TBR
9 o'clock
and whatnot.
Did we have any other questions that we wanted to ask?
I mean, loads, technically speaking, but have I got anything to round out the night on our comics and whatnot? I know, I've got a question for you. What's the best comic to movie or comic to TV adaptation you've seen?
Well, that's where you went. I was going to ask what superpower everyone wants.
That too.
Teleportation.
To answer you, Valkyrie, about making sure the foundations can hold all the books and shelves, the reason that we're ifing and umming and ahhing over when we're moving is because our house is in the process of being built. So thankfully it will be brand new. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I might just check in with them when they tell us that it's built to just be like, so how's the load bearing? Is it okay? Because this bitch collects books.
You want teleportation?
Yes.
Is that what you said, Gina? Can I ask why? And under what, like, is there boundaries to that? Is it teleport to anything within X amount of space? Teleportation to a place that you've been before? Like,
I mean, from the start, it was like anywhere, anytime, during any circumstances.
But do you not remember from our book about magic systems that everything has to have a
this is why-
fucking limit?
Yeah,
no, not a limit as such, but like, because teleportation, any place, any time, does that mean time travel?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Like I can, and the teleportation wouldn't be instantaneous.
Right.
Like it would still take a little bit of time. Still way less time than me physically moving myself in some way capacity to said spot. But I wouldn't mind it just if it took a little bit of time, that's fine too. But also being able to teleport things. Not like a house. But like if I make a meal, I can send it to a friend.
Okay, makes sense.
So in the chat we've had,
control.
There's time control is the only one. See, my problem with that is I have ADHD, so I'd pause time so that I could get something done, and then forget I've paused time.
Yeah.
No, but my
and then, like, 4
my
days
thing for
would
time
pass,
control.
and I'd be like, "What the fuck? God, it's been quiet."
My thing for time control is that in terms of how that would work, if you're reversing time, you would have to be reversing time for yourself as well, surely, so you wouldn't get lie-ins? Or are you excluded from that? Thanks.
See, for me, it's here goes my brain fog again because I can't think what the word is. Like manifestation, but not quite.
Pause time and keep sleeping. Okay. Now I want to get into some shit with you there, Emma, because I'm like, if you eat while your time is paused, and would the food digest? Because surely the food is paused.
So time could say what house was just wrote.
Yeah. Okay. Would you continue? Yeah, but then you go to like, would you continue to age? So would you age faster than everyone else then? Because if time technically is continuing for you, but it's paused for everyone else.
If you're a mum, being able to eat while everyone else is paused might mean that you actually get to eat a meal while it's hot.
Or get to eat what you put.
Yeah, if it's a time bubble
stolen from you.
If it's a time bubble around you, then you would still age while everyone else was paused. And so if you pause for too long, you could literally like.
I think there would have to, again with the limits thing. I think there would have to be a limit.
No, this is where it's really important to define
Arcane,
how
isn't
it works.
They have the whole like you can go back, but it's only 4 seconds.
It's only 4 seconds before Heimerdinger's head fucking.
Let's not
in blood.
In case people haven't seen it. But yeah, I think for me it would be like manifestation of thought to reality.
As in an object?
Well, yeah, like Loki does, where he like essentially It's not such an illusion as such, but he makes something, and then that thing is real. So, like, if you went, oh god, I really could do with, like, a bag right now, you could just think of the bag and paste it all out in your head and then create
So
it.
you're Yaya Rozu from
I don't
My
know who
Hero.
that is. Who?
The girl who can produce things out of her body if she
Yes,
knows how
but
it's
no.
made.
I don't want.
Okay, so
I don't
not
want.
all the skin exposed, but
I don't want it coming
if
out of
you
my body, but
understood-
the idea of like manifestation. So if you went,
if you knew how something was made, you could produce it in your head, and it would appear. You could think of the components it would need and how they would be put together, and then it would appear in front of you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
because
So manifestation,
just because,
but you have
I
to
mean,
know how the thing was made to manifest it.
One, purely from like a mum point of view, the amount of times my kids' school will turn around and be like, hey, it's thingy day today and they need to be wearing this. If I could manifest that shit, so
No, it'd be
much
great.
time and effort saved. But also, money. I know how money is made. I
You
know
could
the
illegally print
components
money
of
with
money.
your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could illegally print money with your mind. True. But no, that's cool. I like that one. But you'd have to like the time one's cool as well. The idea of like you have to pay the price in terms of your own time is used to stop time. I think that's quite cool. I'm curious what like Valken Ember would have as superpowers. I don't know what mine would be actually. I've been talking about everyone else. I have no idea what mine would be.
Yeah, like I can think of like when I was younger, things like invisibility sounded really cool, or being able to shapeshift
No.
into any animal would be kind of cool.
No, I've so many times just wished I could be somewhere else or see someone, but they are so far away that it's not possible.
The internet friend issue, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean there are definitely times where I've gone teleportation would be great because, and like especially if you could teleport other things or people with you, like as long as you were touching them. Because yeah, you'd think about it, like you'd never pay to take your kids on holiday again. You'd just be like, oh, do you know what? It's a Sunday. I'm bored. Let's go. Fuck it. Let's go for a walk around Paris today. Right, kids. Boots on. Hold my hand. Flip. Oh look, here we are in Paris.
Yeah. Shapeshifting is a really cool one. Would it be like one animal at a time, or would you be able to take different qualities from different animals at the same time? And would you be limited to just animals, or would it be like things as well? Like you could become a tree, for example.
I don't know about becoming a tree, but I wouldn't mind if I could shapeshift
No,
into
the-
an animal, but also shapeshift like
My
change
brain went
parts
to
of
a
my
tree.
body.
Yeah,
My brain went to
So
a
like
tree
you could
simply
go
for the fact
like
that
the next
ASDF
day,
movies.
you know, like the anime, not the animagus. Oh, what's Nymphadora in Harry Potter?
exactly.
I no the
What is
kind
she? What is she? No,
the-
I can't move on until I found the word.
we'll find it then.
I think being able to like shift
Metamorphagus.
like your
Metamorphagus.
yes. Not sure, but being able to like shift your ears to hear better, or like shift your eyes to an animal's eyes to see better. Or
My Hero did an incredibly cool version of that with the guy who basically would eat a certain type of food and he could transform his body into that, whatever that food was. So if he ate a squid, he could make his.
Metamorphagus.
Yeah. So if he ate like calamari rings, he could make his arms into tentacles.
Yeah, that the eating things and become that was weird. That's a no. For
No,
me.
but I thought
I
that
do not want to become a fungi.
I thought that was a really cool take on the shapeshift.
Yeah, no,
thing.
it is a very cool take on the shapeshifting thing. But then you have like obviously Beast Boy in Teen Titans could turn into animals.
Yeah, but again, that's one animal at a time. Can he do multiple animals at once?
Yeah,
Like,
Animagus you can turn into an animal, but it's one. It's your animal form. And you only have that one. Metamorphagus is what Nymphadora is, where she can change like her facial features and her hair color and length and style. That I think is kind of cool. Because one, as someone who has like fucking irritating hair. I'd love to go like, yeah, I'm gonna, do you know what? Oh, I'm going out tonight. I feel like just slimming up a bit. Yeah, go on. I want to get into those jeans that I used to be able to wear, so change my body shape, my body type, be a bit taller, change my hair today. Oh, maybe tomorrow I'm going to have it pink, maybe the next day. Yes, like Mystique would be very cool, but I don't specifically want to turn into another person. I don't want the ability fully to like mimic someone, because that seems weird. Although the evil applications of that would be kind of cool.
I like the idea.
Yes,
I
make
like
it
the idea
more,
of
but don't fail
telepathy.
us.
I like the idea of telepathy simply for the fact of I'm autistic and knowing what the people are thinking would be incredibly helpful.
If you could turn it on and off.
If I could turn it on and off, yes, that is the other thing. If it's constant, I would rip my ears out.
Yeah, especially
it
next
wouldn't
to your
help
partner
because like
with
it's
ADHD.
I think that it would have to be one or the other. You could either turn it off or hear everything. Like an all or nothing, because that way it is not just like you can pick and choose who you're listening to. If you have to turn it on or off and it's an all or nothing type thing, then there's like the downside to it is the moment you turn it on, like trying to focus on the information you need is going to be incredibly painful. See, like the bending from Avatar comes to mind, like water bending, because like or like metal bending, because there's like you look at like how many things have like iron in them. Blood has iron in it. Like there's so many ways
the
that
thing with
could be.
Magneto.
Yeah,
Alexa, stop. And that's
like
that was the thing that always made
loads.
me laugh about, like, people were like, oh, Magneto, all he can do is like bend metal, and you're like, do you know how many things contain
It's the blood
trace
blend.
amounts? No, it's the same with water. If
Yeah,
you have
blood
the
bending.
ability
That's
to
what I was about to say.
yeah, if you have the ability to control water, you can make someone drown on
air
dry
bending.
land.
It's what I find so funny about
Like how
D&D.
evil we've got really quickly. We're just like,
But no, but that's the thing is
We're
like you
always
can't
that,
not.
so,
we
you know.
started on like, oh, what would be some fun powers to have? Oh, look, I could teleport, and then I could like send my friends food, and oh, I could do this, so I could
Yes.
make stuff for my kids. To I could control metal and then rip you apart from the inside out, because yes,
but Ant-Man,
firebending
the whole
is the weakest power. Firebending
absolutely
is
is.
100% the weakest power.
But I mean, I want to be able
the-
to teleport you food so you can continue scheming your evil plans.
This is true.
Just
Yeah,
support
you send me cake, I'll destroy the world.
Or I could
It's
send
why,
you the scarf I made you.
D&D
Oh,
has
here's
so
my
many like
scarf.
terrifying cantrips. Yeah, D&D has so many terrifying cantrips. The shape water cantrip, being able to shape water in someone's lungs and just drown them. Like, yeah, it's dangerous.
I think this is why we don't have superpowers.
Probably like being able to control kinetic energy, which I think is bandits, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Gambit, not
Oh
bandit.
no, sorry, yeah, Gambit.
It's
or maybe
kinetic energy.
because, but that like the idea of being able to vibrate something that because you could vibrate an atom that fast and it essentially becomes like thermonuclear just in heat.
Yeah, that's the thing. His whole thing is that he transfers it into playing cards, but technically speaking, that's why. So that's the thing about him and Rogue as a couple, is obviously Rogue's power is that anyone she touches, she essentially leeches all their life force out of them.
Yeah.
And so she was very much like, I'm going to wear gloves all the time. Everyone's going to stay the fuck away from me. No one's going to touch me ever. This is good. And then he was like, no.
Screw that.
Because he's as dangerous, if not more so.
Yep.
Because, yeah, it's just terrifying. Because you look at the small showing they gave you in Black Panther, when Shuri makes him the new suit, and it absorbs kinetic energy. and then can expel it back out as a show of force is fucking terrifying. Then imagine having the ability to make that on cue at any speed or any size you wanted. Just you could do something really small down to essentially a nuclear weapon. It's mind-blowingly terrifying.
Valk, I brute strength, but I think the thing with it, you'd have to eat like thousands
It's
of
also,
I'm talking
again,
like
do
10,000
you
carbs a
have
day.
control over it? Are you always super strong? Like, are you going to
Yeah.
accidentally pick up your plate and yeet it out of the house? Or
Are you stepping out the door and the ground is breaking beneath you? Or and the thing with speaking with animals,
we need to do oh, you guys, we're gonna do a superpowers chat.
speaking with animals
Limits.
would be depends if animals are capable of intelligent thought. By which
they
I
are.
mean it's no, sorry. By which I mean we have a language, and through that we can hold a conversation. But I'm talking like, is a dog's bark just like stop or fuck off? Like, do you know what I mean?
I think they can have full conversations with you. And again, it's about being able to speak their language. So their language would transfer into because they are capable of intelligent thought in the same way we are. We're not the most intelligent people on the planet.
No,
Or
we
most
are the most
intelligent-
intelligent people.
we're not the most intelligent beings on the planet. We just think
Nope.
we are.
We like to think we are.
But the drones and the
Oh
aliens
God!
in the
Can
sea.
you imagine?
which
Can you
have
imagine
proven
having
very
the
wrong.
ability to?
This is
Can you imagine having the
conspiracy theory night
ability
now.
to manipulate bacteria?
Mm.
Oh my God! You could kill. Yeah, no. Like, can you imagine? Just like that is supervillain time.
This is the funny thing I think about all powers.
I can
is
either
every power
eradicate.
has a very wholesome, wonderfully sweet usage, or the most unhinged evil usage, and there's no in between. You're either going to be purely good with it, or you're not, because the minute you do one bad thing with your powers, you're essentially a bad person. So there's no superhero in my future, because as much as I like helping people, I'm also like, if manifestation happened to me tomorrow and I can make things reality in front of me, there's no fucking way I'm ever going to be poor again. Like, not a chance.
Yeah, you could crash the economy is the issue.
No, because you wouldn't need to, because it's not about having money. You don't necessarily need to manifest money. You can manifest anything.
All the things that you want.
Exactly.
that
Why would
need
I
to survive.
manifest the money to buy a car when I can watch a video to understand how a car is made and manifest the fucking car? Like, there's just, and I think that's where people go wrong with it, is they go, oh, well, I could be rich because I could make money. No, I could be rich because I can make a house out of nothing and not have to pay a mortgage for it.
Hey. Oh, okay.
Oh, need a new bed? Make one. There you go.
Oh God, the ability to manipulate sound would be ridiculous.
I think we could be here all night.
Yeah.
Because it is probably time to call it and step
Yeah,
away.
it's probably time. But we're definitely going to bring this up again because I like this. I want to talk more about powers and limits. I agree with you,
Why
Mercury. I
rules
feel
and
like
magic
being able to
systems
see
are
the future
important.
is a very sad thing. Because one, I think it takes all the joy out of not knowing what's coming. But two, the minute you see your death or someone else's death, that's just going to be miserable. for all of us.
But is that is the future set in stone? Is the thing, or if you're living in a multiverse,
Yeah, but
probably
again,
not.
Then yeah,
And-
but again, we're gonna save this for the next
Yeah.
chat.
but this is why rules are important in systems. Don't tell me it's not.
no rules, everything is limitless.
No,
And
there
with
has to
on
be. There
that
has to be
note-
rules. Has
Yes,
to be rules.
exactly. Guys, we're supposed to stop. Yes, I need to
We
go
never
sleep.
stop. Yes, we're gonna let you
Okay,
go
yeah.
sleep because somebody was silly and stayed up all night playing D&D.
I'm gonna
Yes.
go make tea and go to the toilet because I've been dying to go for like 20 minutes, but I
There
got
was a-
into this
There was a
conversation.
break. We had a
Yes,
break for
But
exactly
I was
that
more than
purpose.
20 minutes ago.
So, but
Right,
yeah, thank you very much for joining us,
So,
everyone.
Hang on. So remember, last day of 12 Days of Bookmas tomorrow. Get your freebies in. The channel is going to stay up, I think, until the end of the month. I'll be that nice. So if you haven't picked up everything, or if you lose something and need to go back and get it, obviously if at any point you need a copy of something, just give me a DM. I'll sort you out. But yeah, so last day of 12 Days of Bookmas tomorrow, and then giveaway goes up for the big prize, which is going to be our New Year's prize, and it is a doozy. It's pricey. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there's actually going to be not just one winner. We have a second and third place too. So, definitely keep an eye out for that. Obviously, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to whatever it is you celebrate. I hope you have a fantastic time. We cannot wait to see you all again next week. There will be no Thursday stream next week because of it being Boxing Day here in the UK. I will be in my pajamas. Food comed. That is all. But we will be back next Sunday with our holiday special. We're looking forward to hearing all the things you guys got. And we can talk about all the things we got that were bookish and wonderful and lovely. And then, yeah. And then we'll be going into the new year. Exciting. And we've got loads of new things coming up in the new year. So, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And apologies again for missing last week and for nearly dying on you. Dragged myself back from the brink just to talk books with you guys. So, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.